Friday night, it's 8 o'clock. Welcome to All Lacrosse Live. I'm Gary Groob, firmly in Toronto. With me, as always, I have Shawn Slaght over in Moose Jaw. Shawn, how are you?
Doing pretty good, thanks, Gary.
A lot better this week, too. And over in Connecticut, I have Muffler Mike. Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Excellent. Busy week, guys. Playoffs are in full swing most of the way. MSL still got to get in there. Another week to go. All kinds of things going on with junior, all kinds of things going on with PLL, some news, not great, but some news with NLL. And we'll get to all of that in a moment. Just a reminder to everybody that we are, I hate this new system, I'm trying to find things, that we are streamed live across Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, also back to Instagram Live. Remember to hit the subscribe, follow, and like buttons. Always share. Tell everybody about us, please. Enjoy our affiliates as well. We have soccer and football shows. We have Streampunk Cinema. We have Streampunk Combat. We have all kinds of other shows on the go along the Streampunk Entertainment Network. If you've missed a show, no worries. You can grab all the shows on YouTube, whether it be at Streampunk Sports, whether it be at Streampunk Combat, Streampunk Cinema, or All Lacrosse all the time. And if you come to All Lacrosse all the time, again, please let everybody know about us. There are many retro games, interviews, library of our shows, library of NLL Lacrosse talk shows as well. All kinds of things for everyone and more coming on. Press conferences, all kinds of things. So please give that a go. Remember, you can stay up to date with all sports by visiting streampunkentertainment.com with great articles from our huge staff of contributors. Also a reminder that our show is brought to you by 60, which is more than just a number. 60 is Canada's newest and most exciting uniform and teamwear brand, delivering top quality uniforms and teamwear that reflects the spirit and identity of each team. Their commitment to innovation and excellence sets them apart, ensuring that every customer experiences the perfect blend of style and functionality. Unleash your greatness with 60. You can either use the QR code that's on our screen. You can go on to Instagram at sweet_60 or email them directly at info.sweet60@gmail.com or go on to their website at www.sweet60.ca/60. Jim's more than happy to help you with anything, work with you, and do all kinds of things along the way. And again, our new brand of stuff is well on its way. I have a meeting with him coming up, and we're going to get everything rolling. So off we go. Well, guys, start off a little bit with some NLL stuff and a little bit of concerning things. Is that we're about a week away from free agency, give or take, and we don't have a CBA. We don't have an owner in Rochester. This is a little bit concerning in my eyes. The news out of Rochester is that they're close with a couple of groups and the government working with them to keep the team there. That's always a good sign when the government is involved to keep a team there. That usually happens. But that there's nothing concrete. We've seen it with Panther City. We're talking off air, Shawn. We've seen it with Panther City. Until something's concrete, I don't buy it, because we had Panther City in 4 different cities, and then next thing you know, we have a dispersal draft. What you think, Shawn?
Yeah, exactly what you said, Gary. I mean, a lot of rumblings, but until I'll see it when I believe it. It's nothing taken away from Rochester. I would really love to see them stick around. It's a great, market.
And tradition.
Yeah, it goes way, way back. But but we're getting close, and it'd be nice to hear something.
Absolutely. Mike, what's your thoughts?
Get it done.
Yeah.
Get it done now.
Whatever you got to do, because I mean, last year was a mess with things getting pushed and.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Especially with Panther City, because you look at the Panther City situation, we waited for so long, and all of a sudden it just kind of happened out of the blue. There was really no communication as to what was going on.
Yeah. The other concerning thing, of course, is no CBA as of yet, and really what concerns me is when Jamie Dawick gets on Lacrosse Classified and says, well, if we don't have a deal, let's just sit out a year. That's concerning to me. We've made all these grand steps. We have these TV contracts in place. We have everything set. We have the Olympics in 3 years' time. And you want to sit out because of a collective bargaining agreement? Get it done. Find a way. Get it done. There's just, that's inexcusable. That will set you back all kinds of steps from where we were. This brings us back to the old era where things are uncertain. The one thing since Sakewicz took over, even before Frood, was we had a blueprint in place on how this runs. The NLLPA and the owners had never had a better working relationship. And now you come out and tell me that we can't get a CBA and we should just sit. That just doesn't jive with me. That just doesn't work. We'll back all kinds from what you've worked towards.
Yeah, kind of like we talked off air, Gary. Like, sure, that may be fine for Jamie and the Rock, but that's not what's best for the league.
No,
especially if there's some teams struggling. There's teams struggling out there. They can't afford to take a year off. They just can't, or we're going to see again more Panther cities. And right now the momentum hasn't been better for the game in general. To halt that momentum would just be ridiculous.
Yeah, Mike.
I mean, get it done.
Yep.
There's no reason to. I just don't see any reason to try to force your hand if you're on either side, or force a lockout. I mean,
yep.
That happens. No one wins.
Yeah, it's people's livelihoods all around.
Yep.
It's not just the players now; it's the players who would be incoming.
I agree. And the other thing is that I have been pushing, almost to the detriment of some people, of we need expansion because we have so many players that are of need of a home, and the ALL is full to the gills. Did you expect them to have 20 teams next year in both East and West? That's what's going to have to happen if we don't have any playing. Guys are going to keep playing. That's not a solution.
Well, that's the problem, right? If we wait another year, we're not talking about expansion. We're talking about retractions, which is even worse. There you have even more talented players who have nowhere to play.
Exactly. And like I say, we have so many. I think we need 2 more teams in there, to tell you the truth. There's so many players that are NLL caliber that don't have a home and shouldn't be sitting on a practice roster or sitting in the ALL. And that's not going to help towards keeping guys in or the goal of going full time, because we already have that issue that I brought up with a few of them. Would we lose players going full time? Guys who have careers, firemen, stockbrokers, guys who have their degrees from their scholarships to Ivy League schools. Would it work even? And would you price your fan base out of the market? Because now, what's the marketing play? It's the one affordable sport. Now, if you have to, even at the same price, let's use 50 just for an argument's sake. 9-game season, $450. Simple. But if you have 40 games, 25 games even, are you still going to get 4 tickets for your family? Or you're up around 10,000 now for the year? I highly doubt it. Then that becomes a casual fan that goes once in a while. And then your season ticket base goes to, and then there's nothing that is concrete anymore. So I'm not sure. Half full, half empty, right?
Yeah.
We really want to go that direction.
That's right, Gary. I find it interesting that you brought up, the full time and having another job, because, as you mentioned, some of those jobs likely could, even if you're full time lacrosse, those day jobs likely could be paying more still the
It's
point
also when you're done playing, you're already midway in to your job, where you're not starting at the entry level position
yeah,
and trying to reinvent yourself.
because like you're talking about, like guys who are stockbrokers, stuff like that in downtown Toronto, you're making pretty good coin.
Yeah.
Why would you go
Look at
play
Jesse Campbell.
for half that price to play lacrosse? Like,
Eduardo's with us.
Yeah.
How are you, Eduardo?
Yeah,
Thank
Eduardo.
you for coming. Yeah, I look at it that way as well. I bring up Jesse Campbell, who is now vice president of his firm there. So he's pulling in 6 figures, if not more.
Yeah,
And
and you're not going to see that right off the bat, even if full time. No.
no. Jake Weathers said it in passing. Yeah, you can get me out of firefighting. Yeah, if you want to sign me for $1 million.
Yeah.
But I don't see that happening right quick. So another issue. But if the CBA, if players get greedy on this end and owners get stingy, which is where we're at right now, we're at an impasse. Both sides have to give on this one, and there has to be, I would even say, leave it as an open-ended dialogue. Get something done with some dialogue to come. That way things can be tinkered with, but we can get an initial agreement in there that we get moving. Just a thought. Alrighty, let's get moving towards our week. We had we can start off with I had Lars Tiffany on the other show the other day, and it was really interesting. Him being, of course, the head coach of University of Virginia, and going through his resume, where he grew up actually just outside of Onondaga and grew up with the native heritage and the native teachings to have the love of the game on box, and have put that towards field. And he's had a chance to work with some terrific people along the way, playing for Brown and then coaching in all the places before getting to University of Virginia. I have a small clip from the show just to get a gist of just the enthusiasm and his insight. Now listen, along the way, being their assistants like Glenn Thiel, Jim Stagnita, guys like that, about working for them and how they affected how you perceive the game.
We all have to take what we can learn from everybody we meet on this planet. Sometimes we only get 10 minutes with somebody, and maybe sometimes a couple of years. In those couple of years, you have an opportunity to really grow. My first assistant position was with a man named Shane Lynch, and I learned about tough love, how to coach men with tough love, care about them, but be tough on them. And then I go down to WLA, and I'm with Jim Stagnita, and boy, my eyes opened up. I learned so much lacrosse. No wonder he's been so successful with PLL. That man can flat out coach. He opened my eyes to X's and O's and strategy and schemes I just hadn't seen before. And without those 2 years, that was like a boot camp of a PhD in lacrosse. Without that, I wouldn't be here. 2 years, next 2 years, I'm with Rick Soul up in Hanover. Rick Soul, how to make an individual player better, skill development. Rick wasn't going to get too complex with the 10v10, 6v6 picture, but boy, was he going to push you to be a better lacrosse player, and the skills and the drive and the work. So I learned a lot about player development from Rick Soul. Then I get to go with Glenn Thiel in Penn State. And, what Glenn was able to give me was really the freedom. I mean, I got to act like a head coach Monday through Friday. Saturday, he was obviously, his name was at the top of the roster, but I was able to be a guy who got to implement and experiment and make some big mistakes, with 10-man rides or certain defensive schemes, but he let me try things and experiment. And it may not have always been the best for Penn State lacrosse. So eventually we did get to the NCAA tournament, but I'm so grateful that he trusted me.
Right. One of the things you're known for, though, is you've built a bunch of these programs from really kind of not living up to their expectation to being powerhouses. Brown comes to mind, Virginia comes to mind, and it is about fundamentals. And I think right from the beginning, that's we do everywhere you go. Man down defense goes from lower to top. Power play, all these other things have come in. How does that style work when you're talking with a freshman group and things like that to get your message across?
Yeah, well, it's usually an easier indoctrination because we do play up tempo and fast. That's the game I learned from the Native Americans and perpetuated at Brown University, the way Down Starsia wanted to play the game. That's the style that I've that's going to be characterizing the teams that I coach.
Interesting. His take and how he's learned from everybody. It's a fantastic interview. He is so enlightening, and we're lucky enough because he fit us in because he had a budget meeting literally 2 minutes after he got off the air with us. So, but I am working with him as a Canadian consort and giving him info on some of the people he wants to see from up here. So I'm excited about that. Like to have my hat in a little bit of NCAA. That's exciting. But great. He's also said he'd come back on because we have more topics we're going to discuss. Most of these guests say I have 7 or 8 pages worth of notes. I had 20 pages worth of notes. He's done so much. It's pretty bizarre, pretty wild. And as I said, the best is yet to come. So look out. University of Virginia's on their way back up again. Remember, they were back to back with a COVID year in between as NCAA champs. So they're coming back. Let's pivot on over to PLL, and of course the lovely Pick'ems, in which not bad guys. Still sitting in the lead. How, I don't know, but 21-11, that's me. Caden coming up my tail there at 17-15. Shawn 16-16. Pat and Muffler tied at 15-17. Just on the cusp, eh, Mike?
Yep.
On the cusp. But we're not having losing weeks, guys. We're figuring this out. Let's see if we can parlay this through maybe an NLL season.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be awesome? We're going to start. Let me just get myself up here. So Friday night, we had the Utah Archers and the California Redwoods in just an absolute dogfight. And California comes out with a win. And I know none of us picked that one.
No, none of us did. 9-8, and I mean their season was pretty much on the line this week. 2-5. The win moves them up to 3-5, and it drops Utah to 3-5, and actually allows California now, at least as of that game, to sit in third place, and drops the Archers to 4th in the West, which is not a playoff spot. So this is going to be something to watch. For the Redwoods, 2 goals and an assist for Dylan Malloy, 2 goals and an assist for Chris Kavanaugh. He had the game winner with about 3 minutes and change left in the fourth quarter. Ryder Garnsey had a goal and an assist. Charlie Bertrand had a goal and an assist. Romar Dennis, who we chastised a little bit last week for being invisible, he came up big with a 2-point goal. TD Erlin, 13 of 19 on faceoffs, 6 ground balls to lead all players. Chase Erlin had 14 saves in net for the Redwoods. Utah, Mac O'Keefe, 2 goals and an assist. Trey LeClaire had a goal and an assist. Bo Pedersen with a 2-point goal. They got a goal each from Connor Fields, Piper Bond, and Dyson Williams. And an assist each from Sam King, Grant Ament, and Tom Schreiber, which are not numbers you really want to see from them. The bigger problem here was that Schreiber came up with a leg injury later in the game. He did not play in the second game on Saturday, and neither did Grant Ament, which I know we'll get to that game in a bit. But they were both absent. So the three-peat's looking looking to be in
a little shaky.
Sure. Yeah.
A little shaky. All right. That brings us over to the Maryland against New York, and boy, New York's hot. Caden can't make it tonight, but he was nice enough to send us over a video of his thoughts, and well, let's give him a listen.
Hey guys, Caden here. Super sorry I couldn't make it on tonight. I know that my defense of the Water Dogs, woof woof, was null and void with Carolina taking away a victory, which another close one, still no overtime scene. I thought that one was destined for overtime. I expected that last year out of Philadelphia, and they just couldn't. They sadly couldn't pull it away. However, that's not why we're here to talk. That's not why we're here to see me. We're here to see me because your boys, the Atlas, are the first team to qualify for the playoffs. Shortly after the Outlaws do, but it doesn't matter. That's null and void. The Atlas, our boys, 5 straight and clinching the playoffs. I mean, they're just continuing to show their utter dominance this season. And like I said last week, I'm going to preach it again. It's like you're hard pressed to find me a team that's not named the Outlaws that can beat New York right now. Backed by Liam Entman, who showed out again. I mean, you look at Connor Schellenberger again, Xander Dixon again, Jeff Teat again. Everybody is producing everywhere. It's like I said last week, cogs in a moving machine. They're just running perfectly right now. The one thing to worry about is Brett McCarr with the injury leaving the game. I haven't seen any information yet, but we're going to hope he comes back healthy for next week as we continue our march to the playoffs. Horns up, let's go Atlas.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. But he really should work on getting his point across. You know, he's mishmashing around a little bit. He's out on this, you know.
So I just want to jump on that a bit. You know, both of these games on Friday. I did a little legwork this morning on this. Both of these games on Friday, the Archers and the Atlas specifically, 1 goal each in the fourth quarter for those teams. Atlas lucky enough to get away and have a big enough lead that the Whipsnakes couldn't catch them, and they win 11-8. Despite that 1 goal in the fourth quarter, the Archers with 1 goal in the fourth quarter ended up losing to the Redwoods. And I know we've been talking a lot lately about teams just disappearing at the end of games. Fourth quarter, just offensive collapses here and there. So I looked back at every single game so far this PLL season, and I found 15 instances in 32 games so far where one team scored 1 or less goals in the fourth quarter. And not good when that happens. For the most part, they've lost. Those teams have actually gone 4-11 in those 15 games. 5 times teams have been shut out in the fourth quarter, and 10 instances where a team scored just 1 goal. There was actually 1 game where in week 3 between Outlaws and Water Dogs where both teams managed only 1 goal in the fourth quarter. So, you know, we talk about you know what you got to do at the beginning of games and getting out to leads, but you got to be able to hold those leads, or you got to be able to keep your foot on the gas. And we see when teams are struggling in the fourth quarter, for the most part,
that's kind of the point I was going to make. Sorry, kind of going back to that Archers Redwoods game. I mean, the Archers had a lead at half. It was a 1 goal lead, but then put up 2 goals in the second half. I mean, they just went silent that second half.
Yeah, and you know, in looking at all these instances of, we'll call fourth quarter woes, it's happened to every single team at least once this year, surprisingly. So, so no team is immune from this happening to them, at least at some point this year. And I mean, with 2 weeks to go, you know, you need to be able to produce at the end of the game and not just sit on your heels just because you got a 6-goal lead or something. And, you know, I know we're going to get to Pat in a sec, but, you know, ask Chaos, you know, well, we thought they were going to cruise in the fourth quarter and, you know, 2 consecutive 2-point goals from the Water Dogs later, the game's tied. So, and that forced the first overtime game so far this year.
Absolutely. All right, with that, let's get to Pat and see what he has to say and everything.
What's going on, everyone? It's your guy, Pat Bernard, a.k.a. The Gobbler. Well, there you have it. The Philadelphia Water Dogs, the Carolina Chaos, battling down to the wire. This game will pour out in overtime. But, however, Jackson Ecker, the playmaker for Carolina Chaos, and he fits the bill for that squad. He was down low, creating chaos, getting the mismatches. He put up 5 goals and assists, 6 points for that young man. Draft pick out of Army, 6'4", and straight bulldozing whatever stood in that man's way. However, for the Water Dogs, if you're going to take some positives out of this, there was the unknown heroes that stepped up. C.J. Kurz, Dylan Heath, Jimmy Fairway from the outside, from the perimeter, making a goal. Cameron McCardle getting a couple of goals in. But however, this Philadelphia Water Dogs team have now lost 2 straight. They fall to 4-4. And when are they going to get back into the win column? Because I'm hearing a lot of barking, but no bite from this Philadelphia Water Dog team. We'll see what happens next week. All right, guys, have a good one. Bye-bye.
Well, says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
Looking a lot like last year with that. 1-goal losses. Doing almost enough to get over the hump, but
yeah, I mean, they had all the momentum after those back-to-back 2-point goals too. You know, I really thought they were just going to kind of, you know, go from there. But, you know, you could also say what hurt them was that 2-point goal they gave up at the end of the first half from half court. I mean,
yeah, that's a deflator. That's a deflator.
Yeah. You make that save, and now it's a tie game, and game probably never goes to overtime. So, if everything else stays the same, and boy, so they have Cannons next week, and I mean, they are in a playoff clinching scenario. If they can get a win over Cannons and Redwoods beats the Whip Snakes, that puts the Water Dogs at 5 wins. It puts the Whip Snakes at 6 losses. So that's a clinch right there, regardless of what happens. But, you know, it's a tall order. And then I forget who they have last week. Don't they have Atlas again?
Cadence.
Yeah, I'm taking a look.
Yeah, they got the Atlas last week. Yeah, got the Atlas.
No, boy.
Yep.
So
that's probably the opportunity next week. Yep.
Yep.
Well, just looking at the standings and seeing that both Boston and Utah are on the bottom of the standings is already strange enough in my eyes.
Yeah, definitely
Are not
eye-opening.
usually there.
Yeah, and the other with the Archers now, well, we'll get to that game in a sec, but most folks know by now that Archers dropped both ends of their homecoming weekend here
Yeah.
They're at 3-6. They're on a bye next week, and then they play in week 11. But at this point, Carolina can actually clinch a playoff spot with just a win. That will put them at 5 wins to Archer's 6
Just the win.
losses.
They're playing Denver.
Yeah.
Win, eh?
They are, yeah. I mean, it's a tough task. So you know, both these are the only 2 playoff clinching scenarios for next week. Both of them are going to be difficult at best to see.
How would you're awake
To see actually get accomplished.
They lose the Chaos out of the Archers in the final week. So
Yeah. Yeah, just even more funny is, you know, the game Philadelphia and Boston. That's a must win for both teams just to stay alive.
It really is.
yeah.
So it's funny how that all works
It
out.
really is. But, you know, I mean, Whip Snakes are going to have I hate to make it sound like every team is desperate, but every team is desperate in the PLL right now, unless you're New York or Denver, and you've already
And they
clinched.
get to face each other as the ABC game of the week next Saturday.
That actually got switched around. Atlas and Outlaws are on 1 p.m. now.
Yeah.
On ABC.
That's what I mean. They are the game on ABC.
Yeah, so that'll be for the top overall seed.
Mm-hmm. That's going to be a huge game.
Yeah.
I'll be watching. I'll find a patio and make them turn it like the All-Star game. Probably in Brooklyn somewhere before I go cover that game. You got to use your time wisely, guys. It's about multitasking and seeing the blueprint and, you know, you get. Otherwise, you're chasing your tail. Too many games to do that. Mind you, I have some good suspension now, so I can spin around on it. Let's hope that never happens again. Thank you. But, yeah, that brings us to the last game of the week, and that is, of course, Denver beating Utah 15-10.
Yeah.
And basically something we expected, though, and more so with injuries.
More or less, yeah. No Grant Ament, no Tom Schreiber for Utah. Sam King stepping up for the Archers, 3 goals and an assist. Dyson Williams with a pair of goals. You had Ryan Ambler with a goal and assist. Mason Woodward had another 2-point goal. I think he has, 3 in the last 2 weeks now.
Right.
So they got a goal each from Mac O'Keefe, Connor Fields, Brett Dobson, 12 saves. For Denver, Pat Kavanaugh, 2 goals, 4 assists. Brennan O'Neill had a huge game, 2 1-point goals, 2 2-point goals. They also got 2-point goals from Jake Pisano and Ryan Terafenko. So 4 2-point goals. Just think about that. That's 8 of their 15 points right there. You take those away and they're losing 10-8.
Well, it just shows you how versatile they are as a team.
They really are. And I have to say that they've been doing this without very much production at all from Graham Bundy Jr., which is kind of surprising. A bit of a sophomore slump, and I don't know if that's just these other guys have come in and taken over, or he's just struggling. Maybe they changed his role, but they're not getting a whole lot of production from Bundy. But they're still here. They are 6-game win streak. They get a goal each from Logan Wisnauskas, Dalton Young, Justin Anderson. Luke Weirman went 13 of 22 at the stripe. And Logan McNaney just 8 saves. But again, Archers have some issues. I believe they rank dead last in the PLL in turnovers, or have the most turnovers of any team in the league. So that certainly doesn't help. And, I guess if there's any silver lining, it's they're on a bye next week. And then they come back, and hopefully some games next week go their way, so to speak. Namely Chaos and Redwoods losing.
Yeah.
Because let's not forget that Chaos still has that awful goal differential that's going to hurt them if they get into any sort of tie situation with either or both of those two teams. They'll be the ones
They're
on
hurting
the
in a
outside.
number of positions too, because Sisselberger's not doing it in faceoffs. He's at a 36% for the season.
Yeah, well, he hasn't even been. I mean, it's been Jake Naso the last few games.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, the point remains either way. That just they're struggling as a whole as far as getting possession.
But yeah, just looking at the injuries there, Matt Moore also, Devin McLean, Grant Ament, and Tom Schreiber, as well as Sisselberger. That's huge. It's
a lot to overcome. And Moore is out for the whole season, I believe. So he's been ruled out for the whole season.
Yeah. So that's lots to overcome for there. So yeah, that three-peat is definitely in jeopardy, barring an act of God, I think. As well as, you're looking at the up-and-comers. Atlas has been on the cusp for a couple of years, and, no one is happier than me about this because, we know my trials between the Shamrocks and the Atlas. Shamrocks are putting me down the same road, though I still believe.
He's keeping the faith.
But, I still believe. But, it's just Atlas are, if there's a team that's due, this is the team that's due. And, we already heard from, Connor Schellenberger and Doc Sagan's coach from college. And, where they're getting their skills from. They came in great and left greater. So here we are. But upcoming, of course, next week is in Denver, so sleep early so that you can stay up late. Lots of late games. The early game is 8 p.m. on Friday, Carolina, Denver. The late game, 10:30, Philadelphia, Boston. Saturday, a little easier to take because it's a 1 and an 8 o'clock start. New York and Denver, we talked about already on ABC, as well as ESPN Plus, TSN Plus. But Maryland and California, also a pretty big game because, again, you're at the point now where these are must-have games. And that's the 8 o'clock game on Saturday evening. So check it out. We're down to 2 weeks left before we get into playoffs. So lots can happen. I'm not sure if it will happen, but there's all kinds of, the schedule makers must have this crystal ball or something like that because they have it set so well that the right matchups are happening, that we get to experience lots of things that can happen. It's not mathematically impossible anywhere. All right, why don't we get ourselves on over to Junior West, Shawn? And we have a couple of major things that have happened.
Yeah, I guess we'll start over in Prairie Gold Lacrosse League, their junior division. As we mentioned last week, the Moose Jaw Mustangs lost game 1, 13-7 to Prince Albert Predators to bring it to game 2 back in Prince Albert. And the Predators came away with the 14-12 wins. They have now three-peated as the Prairie Gold Junior champs. Just in a fantastic program they got over there in Prince Albert. It's been amazing. They're going to be tough to stop. But you have to remember, too, Moose Jaw's program, they just came back into the junior league, I think it's about 2 or 3 years ago now, and they're already back in the finals. So I think that's got to say something about their program as well. They built that back up really quick. Definitely. And because I remember before when they left the junior league, they actually had a really great program, had to go out of the junior league, came back, and they've built it right back up again. So it's still a positive for Moose Jaw, even though they didn't come out on top this time. And then in the senior division, Wednesday we had the semifinals between the Saskatoon Brewers and the Saskatoon SWAT, and the Brewers came away with an 18-8 win. So they moved into the finals this weekend against the standing Buffalo Fighting Sioux. And game one was Saturday. Standing Buffalo came up with a 16-13 win. Just a few numbers here. Jake Boudreau for Standing Buffalo, 4 goals, 7 assists for 11 points. Jeff Shatler, 3 goals, 3 assists. Austin Shanks, 3 goals, 2 assists. Mike Messenger, 3 goals and assist in game one for Standing Buffalo. Then game two, which just happened this afternoon in Fort Qu'Appelle. Standing Buffalo took the championship in the 3-game series with a 17-11 win. Let's face it, with all due respect to the Saskatoon Brewers, when you're coming up against a team that has, 3 NLLers and a guy who's retired but really could probably still play in the league, you are fighting an uphill battle. That final game, Austin Shanks, 6 goals, 3 assists. Jeff Shatler, 4 goals, 2 assists. Jake Boudreau, 4 goals and an assist for Standing Buffalo. When it comes to the Prezzies, I guess we'll wait and see. As we kind of saw last year, Jeff kind of put together a quote-unquote all-star team from Saskatchewan just so that they could be more competitive. So we'll see if that's what he kind of does again this year. Out of the junior B side, or sorry, the senior B side. And then junior A's, we head over to BC, and our final is set. Coquitlam swept Delta in 4 straight games. As we left off, I believe Coquitlam was up 3-0. And then on Monday, Coquitlam swept the series with an 11-3 win over the Delta Islanders to book their ticket to the final. And then we go over to the other semifinal, which was Victoria against Nanaimo. In this game, you had Nanaimo up when we last left, 2-1. On Monday, Victoria took the series lead 8-7. Then Victoria went up 3-1, 13-4. That was on Wednesday. And then just yesterday, Victoria took a 10-7 win to take the series 4-2. So we have Coquitlam and Victoria, which should be a fantastic final on the junior A side of things. And like I said, the Adnax junior squad is looking like a juggernaut. Don't see any schedule as to when the finals go right now, but it's the best of 7 series, so we'll see what happens there.
Mm-hmm.
And then over at the Rocky Mountain junior A's out of Alberta, we already knew that the Calgary Raiders were in the finals after sweeping the Saskatoon or the Saskatchewan SWAT, and we now find out that the Calgary Mounties will be facing them in the final. They won that series 4-1. With the Miners on Sunday night, we did get a final on that one. The Miners did win that one 10-9 to make it a 3-1 series lead. But then on Friday, the Mounties took that series with an 11-7 win. So again, should be an interesting final. Both really well coached teams. Of course, you go Cody Hawkins for the Mounties. Mitch Bannister is coaching actually the Raiders now, but remember Andrew McBride's been with that program for quite a while now and been building that up. So could be an interesting final, all Calgary final as well. So it should be interesting.
Absolutely. Over in the OJLL, we are in the heart of a really great playoff matchups. Whitby and Toronto to start out with, and the first game, Whitby just took Toronto to the woodshed. It was 10-3 in their first game. However, the Beaches came back on Thursday and beat Whitby 6-5. Whitby has come back today and won 9-6 as well. That's where we're at. But it's just been a heck of a series. Today, Toronto won 11-9, so we're tied 2-2 in this series. What looked like it was going to be a walk was the Peterborough-Orangeville series, where Orangeville beat Peterborough 10-7 in game one. And it took a 6-goal third period from Peterborough to get them to even look like they were in the game, because Orangeville just was having their way with them until the third period. But that was enough to give them a little bit of life. On Wednesday, Orangeville won again, but it was a little bit closer in 8-4. But Friday night, Peterborough overcame the odds and beat Orangeville 8-7 to get back in the series, 2-1. This evening, Peterborough was up at the end of the first period, 2-1, but Orangeville put together a 4-goal second period, has ramped it up with a couple of goals in the third, and with give or take a minute and a half left, they are up 7-4, looking to take a stranglehold on the series 3-1. Upcoming, the pivotal game 5 will go tomorrow in Orangeville at the Tony Rose Arena. Also, Whitby and Toronto get back at it tomorrow evening over at the Pickering Recreation Complex. That series could very well go 7 games. But remember, the winners will face each other for who's going to the Minto to join St. Catharines. So, interesting stuff. But I just, I was talking off air with Lars Tiffany as well about it, and it just seems as though Orangeville has got a chip on the shoulder this year after last year. And with the looks of Coquitlam going back as well, this could be a rematch only on Eastern soil this time around. So this could be very, very interesting. And I know that we're going to have some damn good lacrosse. And that Minto Cup is shaping up to be just one of memorable measures. So hang on tight. It's going to be a ride. Jumping on over to Ontario Series Lacrosse. We are now well into playoffs there as well. The first game was Brooklyn and Owen Sound on Friday. And, Owen Sound didn't fare too well. 14-4 was your final there. Absolute lambasting from the Brooklyn juggernaut of Alex Marinier, who had 4 goals, 2 assists. Jacob Hickey, who had a hat trick. Zach Garrigan, who had 3 goals and 6 assists. So this is look out, Deacon Nuts on his game as well. He made 33 saves off 37 shots. He's seeing the ball well. Talking with him in Peterborough just a week ago, and he is, and the team is so excited to get actually into the playoffs and get moving. So chomping at the bit, if you will. They played again this evening, and I believe it's a final now. It is. And a little closer of a game, though. 9-7, Brooklyn beat Owen Sound. So they're up 2-0 in a best-of-5 series. Goal scorers for Brooklyn: Liam Osborne with 2 goals and 2 assists. Zach Garrigan with 3 goals and 3 assists. And singles from Ed Renault, Darren Elliott, Devin Pfeiffer, Adam Peroni. I feel like I'm naming the Prague team, guys. For Owen Sound, Jake McNabb had a goal and 2 assists. Riley Thompson, for a goal and 3 assists. Dawson McKenzie for a goal, 3 assists. And Mike Blaymeyers with 2 goals, 3 assists, as well as Brody Cascanet with a goal. Gavin Clark had a decent night in net. He gave up 9, but, he's facing an absolute powerhouse of a lineup. This is as close to an NLL lineup without being an NLL lineup as you're going to get. Walking that tightrope.
Yeah.
The interesting one and the interesting series so far has been Hamilton and Six Nations. And Hamilton beat Six Nations 10-6 last evening. Strong showing overall. Aiden Walsh has been in net for for Hamilton, you thought Andrew Kidd would be in there. He's riding the bench right now. But Shane Hallowell had a big game, as well as Gareth Hay, also Josh Gilray, Jaden Patterson doing what he does best and facilitating. For Six Nations, though not the greatest of showings, a decent showing. Ty Belanger and Elon Henhock split the duties. A little bit of a rough night for Elon Henhock, getting the hook. But Denton Miller had 3 goals for Six Nations, as well as Rod Squire with a pair. Devin Bunbury also had 1. But they came back and they just finished before we got to air. And it looked like Hamilton was going to do the same thing. They were up 6-3 after 2. But come down the stretch, they were up 8-6 with about a minute to go. And Greg Elijah Brown, first off, was a facilitator on Alice Dockstader's goal and scored a buzzer beater with 1 second left that sent this game to overtime. It didn't last long into overtime. Carson Moyer scored 35 seconds into overtime to end it, and Hamilton is now up 2-0 in their best of 5. So look out. Next week's games are Friday. Hamilton and Six Nations will get at it, as well as Brooklyn and Owen Sound. Both 8 p.m. starts. Six Nations over at the ILA, and Brooklyn over at the Iroquois Lacrosse Arena Park Sports Center in Whitby. So you are not going to want to miss these games. If there is a game necessary for a game 4, Saturday will be over in the Dave Andrewchuk Arena in Hamilton for the Six Nations Hamilton game. Sunday would be in Meaford at the Meaford Arena. We get Brooklyn and Owen Sound. So it's a little bit of a check, a little bit of a drive. But worth it. Worth it. And that is OSL for this week. We're looking to get to a pretty barn burning. The way it looks now, it looks like it's going to be a Hamilton-Brooklyn final. And the games they had during the year were wild. So this should be interesting if it comes down to that. But nothing is finished yet. Never over till it's over. And with the Six Nations Rivermen, I wouldn't call it dead until you're already saying last rites. All right, why don't we move on over to the WLA? And, well, we now have our playoff scenarios all set up.
Yeah.
So let's go through this week's games and see where we stand.
I guess start back last week and Sunday night.
Yep.
I guess we'll start with Coquitlam and Nanaimo, and Coquitlam came away with a 7-4 win in a game that no one really wanted to score in. But honestly, even in the loss, a lot of credit to Devlin Shanahan. He's had a rough season, and he went toe-to-toe with Christian Del Bianco in this one, really. And for instance, just in the first period alone, Coquitlam outshot Nanaimo 20-10, and Devlin Shanahan stopped all 20 shots he faced, and had Nanaimo with a 1-0 lead after 1. Then it was 2-2 after 2. It was then that the floodgates opened in the third, where Coquitlam came away with 5 goals to Nanaimo's 2 for the 7-4. For the Adnaks, you had Keen Moon, 2 goals, 2 assists. You had a couple of goals from Riley Isaacs. Am Noakes, a goal and an assist. Other goals from Bobby Kidd III. Eric Turner with a pair of goals. As I mentioned, Christian Del Bianco got the stopped 30 of 34 and was the first star in this game, but it didn't come easy. Thomas Vason, 2 goals and assist for the Timbermen. A goal and assist from Ryan Sheraton. 2 assists from Lucas Olson. A goal and assist from Noah Manning, and a pair of assists from Colton Lidstone. That kind of set up what we'll see later in the week. But for Nanaimo, that was pretty much it for them. Kind of in the basement this year, but it's kind of a rebuilding year, especially with the moves you saw kind of beforehand with, Zach Mann's moving on and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Moving on to the Berards and the Lakers.
That was a big game, though. A lot on the line in that one.
Yeah, there was a lot on the line. Burnaby had a lead after 2 periods, but Maple Ridge rallied. They win 9-8 and effectively clinch the 4th playoff spot and eliminate Burnaby. Dylan McIntosh, really the hero for Maple Ridge. A sock trick in this game. Peyton Cormier had 5 assists. Marcus Claridge had a goal and 3 assists. You got 3 assists each from Dagan Carlson and Ryan Jones. Declan Fitzpatrick had a goal and an assist, and Drew Andre had a goal. Brandon Humphrey making 42 saves in net for the Berards. On the Burnaby side, Ben Stewart, hat trick and 3 assists. Ben McDonald had a goal and 3 assists. Jack Charbonneau, a goal and 2 assists. He had a goal and assist from Sam LaRue, 2 assists from Jacob Dunbar, and Keegan Milenichuk made 49 saves in the loss.
Right. Alrighty, let's move on over now to Tuesday night and the Berards and Timbermen.
Yeah, the Berards kept on rolling. They win 11-5. They finished the season 7-9-2. Again, taking that 4th and final playoff spot. Dylan McIntosh comes right back after his sock trick and puts up 4 goals and an assist in this one. You get 5 assists from Ryan Jones, 4 assists from Riley Lowen. Drew Andre had 2 goals and 2 assists. Dagan Carlson, 2 goals and an assist. And Declan Fitzpatrick with a goal and 2 assists. Getting the start in net was Braden Wandler. He was actually the 3rd star of the game, making 47 saves on 52 Timberman shots.
Right.
For Nanaimo, not much, unfortunately. Lucas Olson, 3 goals and an assist. Josh Verhagen, 2 goals and an assist. They got 4 assists out of Colton Lidstone. And Colby Bowman got the start in net, making 41 saves. And they finished 2-16.
Ouch.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on over. And, this was a bright game. Very nice game. It's a good game. This was the sunshine of my week.
Yeah, the Shamrocks come away with a 10-6 win, kind of to set up that marquee matchup on Saturday that we will get to. That Gary's crying in his beer over now. But man, Victoria came up with a 7-2 lead after the first period, and they were up 10-2 after the second, and that was just way too much to overcome for this Lakers team. They did go 4-0 in the third, but I think really at that point, Victoria was playing with their food. For the Shamrocks, 4 goals and 2 assists from Andrew Hugh, hat trick and assist from Zach Mans. He had 3 assists from Kyle Pepper, 3 assists from Clark Peterson, 2 assists from Nick Preston. Cameron Dunkerley got the start and stopped 45 of 51 shots in the win. And for Burnaby, again, Ben McDonald, 5 goals for the Lakers. Jack Charbonneau, a goal and 2 assists. 2 assists from Gordy Phelps, but that was pretty much your offense right there for the Lakers. And Keegan Milenichuk and Mark Russell Ripberger split the time in goal for the Lakers in that one.
Right. All right. Moving further along, we have the Bellies and the Thunder. And boy, the Thunder have imploded.
Yeah. This is a home and home series, and I don't have the stats in front of me, but I think it's like 9 of the last 8. They've scored less than 10 goals for the Thunder. They've just, again, another.
Got worse as it went along, right?
Yeah, and I mean, it's, you look at that lineup and how many guys they don't have from previous years. Again, it's a rebuild for them as well. Kind of like Nanaimo, where you're seeing a lot of big names just not in that lineup anymore. But yeah, the Salmon Bellies came up with a 7-3 lead after the first. We're up 9-7 after the second. So again, Langley was really kind of in it until the third, when the Salmon Bellies put up 4-1 on the Thunder. For the Salmon Bellies, 2 goals and 5 assists, a 7-point night for Ty Kurtz. A hat trick from Mitch Jones, goal and 2 assists from Hayden Dixon. Also a goal and 2 assists from Anthony Malcolm. We saw him in the lineup that night. And Frank Giuliano, 50 saves on 58 shots. For Langley, Chase Scanlon with a goal and 4 assists, a hat trick by John Phillips, a goal and 3 assists from Ethan Emlott. Nathaniel Koznesnikov, 2 goals, for the Thunder. And Nate Fasten actually got the start over Caleb Kahn for the Thunder, and he stopped 40 of 51 shots in the loss. And then,
all right, and the next night they got worse.
The backside of the home and home, and yeah, it did not get any better for the Thunder, losing 9-2. 2 goals. I don't even know how to put that in words, honestly. That's rough.
Yeah. So they actually had, so out of their 18 games, they actually had 5 games this year where they scored 4 or less goals.
Yeah,
wow.
that's
rough.
That's rough.
That's hard.
And then they had 5 games out of 18. Only 5 games out of 18 where they scored 10 or more goals.
Yeah.
They went 3-2 in those contests, but
yeah,
that's boy, when you're not breaking double digits in 13 of your 18 games,
you're not winning many.
Can't expect to do well. So
yeah, and I'll say not much to talk about this one. Mitch Jones, 2 goals and 3 assists. Will Malcolm, 2 goals, 2 assists. He had goal and 2 assists from Hayden Dixon. Goal and assist from Jacob Rouet. 2 assists from Ty Kurtz. Justin Getty got the start for New West. 38 of 40 shots. So first start of the game, only allowing 2 goals. For the Thunder, your goals, Koznikov to Nathaniel Koznikov, a goal, and John Phillips, a goal. Those are your goal scorers for the Thunder.
Easy sheet to go through, isn't it?
Yeah, and Nate Fasten again got the start, and sub 50 of 59 shots. So that wrapped up their season. So the Salmon Bellies finished with a record of 14-4. Their playoff spot was clinched, but where they were going to finish was kind of still up in the air with that last game of the season. While the Thunder, on the outside looking in at 5th place at 5-13.
We moved to Black Saturday.
The marquee matchup. So I guess we'll go through the scenarios first here. Because it's kind of a weird situation where
I can't look.
the winner, regardless, was taking first place in this one. But really, it was the Shamrocks that had everything to lose. Sorry, Gary. Because a loss actually would not put them in second, it would put them in third because of a tie earlier in the year. I think the only way they could have gotten second was actually tying this game, which didn't happen. the Adnax came away with a 11-6 win. So we know Coquitlam finishes first and we'll have home advantage through the playoffs, while the Shamrocks drop down to third, and will meet New Westminster and will not have home floor advantage. So you see the first round, Coquitlam and Maple Ridge. With,
best
of course,
of 5,
Coquitlam. Best of 5, yep.
and we have
And then
New
Victoria
West.
and New West.
Victoria.
Best of 5.
That's gonna be a series worth watching, though, boy. I tell you.
Yeah. I think regardless, I think first versus 4 could be interesting. I mean, Maple Ridge is giving some teams some good run for their money, but boy,
It's a David and Goliath scenario, though.
Yeah, I mean,
It is.
coming into this season, we probably said Victoria and New West were probably the 2 favorites, and one of them is going to get knocked out in the first round.
And the other would get knocked out in the second round. So
Yeah.
on the way to the Man Cup, right? So interesting. It's bringing me back to Kufla a little bit, isn't it? But
Like I talked to Mike after, Coquitlam's an interesting scenario because they've got NLLers on their team, but they don't really have that big name other than Christian Del Bianco. So you wonder how far that'll take them.
Well, you see, when it comes time to grind, remember, character wins cups, right? So let's see who can be as cohesive as possible with one another. That's going to be interesting. We move ourselves on over. And as always, MSL is lagging a week. So there's still some games this week, but we already have the playoffs set, which is Owen Sound and Six Nations. And you want David and Goliath. That's David and Goliath.
Yeah, that'll be another one.
Yeah.
And, of course, Peterborough and Brooklyn, which should be a pretty good series. Both of them have looked great this year, and both of them have had rough times this year. It's about who will be able to get it moving first and foremost. Looking at this week, though, we had a few games, not as many as normal. Owen Sound went into the track on Monday and looked real good. And they brought up a name that we've heard quite a bit. Greg Elijah Brown is playing with the Owen Sound North Stars. And, he made a big splash in this one with a few goals, as well as Jackson Webster and Mitch Wild, all with a pair of goals each en route to a 11-7 victory over the Oakville Rock. The good thing on Oakville was Sam Leclerc. He's back to full steam, having 5 goals in this game. 5 of 7, not bad. But short of that, he didn't get a whole lot of support. So 11-7 was your final there for Owen Sound. On Wednesday, Brooklyn and Six Nations played, and, this was a strange game. Brooklyn, it's the MO for Six Nations, really. Brooklyn gets out to a 3-0 lead. They're also out to a 4-1 lead. And then pretty much Six Nations defense wakes up, Six Nations offense wakes up. And in the names of course, Ian McKay, Dane Smith, Ryan Smith. But they shut them down altogether and come away with a 7-5 victory. For the other half of the game, Brooklyn got 1 goal. That's just the MO of Six Nations. They're just going to play basically a period and beat you. So I don't know if that will bite them in the playoffs. Talking with Rich Kilgore a week ago, they needed that loss against Peterborough just to kind of rattle them around because they're getting a little bit too complacent, being only have to play 12, 15 minutes a game. So let's see how that shakes out. Peterborough and Brampton got together Thursday night over in Peterborough. And again, Brampton had a decent showing, but Peterborough comes out on top 9-6. Again, Thomas Hogarth was the big gun there in Peterborough with a hat trick. For Brampton, Jacob Janke had a really great showing. He had a hat trick as well. Mike Triola with a goal, Bowie Horseman, and Eric Ward with the others. But again, I think that Brampton's on the cusp of doing something really great, and they're young. So if they can keep this nucleus together, I think that they really are going to be someone to be reckoned with as the season goes on. I think they're the best 3-win team I've seen. But that knocks them off their win streak, and, well, it doesn't much matter. They didn't make the playoffs. But I really do think that they are going to be knocking on the door next season for a playoff spot. Brooklyn and Owen Sound played earlier today in a game that was rescheduled from back when the Owen Sound coach passed. And Brooklyn came out on top in this one, 12-9. A really great game. It was back and forth all the way until the third, where Brooklyn just had a little bit more gas in the tank and came away with a 12-9 victory. Sean Wesley, and here's a name for you guys. Justin Tavares in his second game. He played his first game, ironically, against Dad back on Wednesday. And didn't hit the score sheet. But he had 3 goals and 4 assists here. Looking real good. Sean Wesley had 4 goals and 4 assists in this game. Also looking really good. But they come away with a 12-9 victory this afternoon over Owen Sound. And a game that just finished not long ago. Peterborough, I guess, was trying to make a point, trying to disprove me. And, well, they beat up on Coburg 15-4. Brad McCulley with 4 goals in this game. It got ugly early. It was 6-0 for Peterborough after the first, 10-3 after 2, and 15-4 at the game's end. Really not a lot of bright spot for me to talk about in Coburg. I don't know. They started out really strong and finished off not so great. So they have a little bit of rebuilding to do once again. But Peterborough, again, Carter Page as well, having a good game. Take Tony also having a good game. Ben Trumbull is a guy who came in a couple of games ago and has scored in every game he's played in since he's been up. So him, Carter Page, Justin Sykes, really a young nucleus that is going to be really, really good for Peterborough. Remember, Justin Sykes led the OJLL on scoring, so he's just doing his thing up in MSL now. But interesting though, he Nick Rose was his guy, right, in Orangeville. Now he's his goalie. Everything comes full circle here, right? We have one more week of regular schedule for MSL. Well, we have 2 games. Monday we have Six Nations into Oakville, and Thursday Oakville is playing Brampton. So both are fairly, let's just get through the games and not get hurt. But it is what it is. I might actually go out to the Thursday game over in Brampton just because I can. Should be exciting time too. It's Oakville and Brampton always play each other tough. They had a really fantastic game the last time they met up in Brampton. So should be another real good one. If you're in the area, remember, it's $10. $5 if you're a youth, and I believe it's nothing if you're a retired. So there you go. Get your butts on over. Let's fill Memorial. But that's the way it is. And to say the schedule is the playoffs are already set. This is going to be an interesting time. And if there is a dark horse to beat the juggernaut of Six Nations, I really do like the makeup of Peterborough, and they have the horses that can run an older Six Nations team around. It's just there's so much depth on Six Nations that you can sit an entire NLL All-Star team out and still have an NLL All-Star team on the floor. So how you go against that in a long series, I don't know. But I sure hope that down the road here, a week or 2 from now, that we're talking about, my God, what the surprises in this series are. Not it's over in 4. Because that's not interesting. Any thoughts, guys, on the upcoming thing and where you see the Mann Cup looking?
Oh,
Mike, let's start with you.
Yeah. I mean, I have a hard time seeing Maple Ridge get past Coquitlam. I mean, the big tilt is going to be what Sean's covering with Victoria and New West. And I'll echo his concerns that we talked about off air earlier today. But obviously, it'd be nice. Coquitlam would like to make it to the Man Cup final, especially since it's coming back west. But I mean, I'd be a little concerned about the West trying to win the Man Cup with Coquitlam as their representative if they're going up against Six Nations.
Right.
With not a lot of marquee, if you will, NLL star power. Whereas if it's Victoria or New West, you've got a good group of NLL players.
yeah.
Absolutely.
That
Sean, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it's kind of the same way. You kind of look at New West and Victoria's lineup. They probably, I mean, we're all kind of assuming that Six Nations is coming out of Ontario. They look like they would better match up against a Six Nations team versus Coquitlam, but that Christian Del Bianco factor, right? And how much can he put a team on his back?
It's true. I'm looking forward to the Peterborough Brooklyn series because I don't give Brooklyn enough credit. With the correct lineup in tow, they can beat anybody, and they've taken Six Nations to the edge twice. They've taken Peterborough to the edge. Peterborough, I really like the makeup with the youth in there, what they've done with the tinkering from what the team looked like at the beginning of the summer ball season to where we are now. And I like it that, role players like Brad McCulley have stepped up and become not just hitters, but again, like he did with Buffalo, scorers when needed. Today was a good example with 4 goals. And you have a number of guys like that will step up and are able to put it in. If Holden Katoni stays healthy, and with Tate Katoni, who's had a hell of a summer, as well as looking at some of the other guys that are up and coming, I think that if there's an upset in there, this would be the one. But I just find it so hard to see one of these teams knock off Six Nations when it's for something. It's one thing when it's, July 2022 and you're playing game number 16 and whatever. But when it's best 4 out of 7 and every game matters, then I'm thinking, do they even bother? The foot goes on the pedal right from the beginning. And if it comes off, it's only because there's such a big lead, it doesn't matter. It's not play 12 minutes of a game. So I have that in my mind. And then when it comes down to the West, does Victoria, New West, or Coquitlam have enough fuel in the tank to battle, even though it's at home, a Six Nations team that's hungry for a three-peat? Because they want to hold it together so that they can beat the 4-peat of Peterborough, which has happened twice. So if they can hold this team together for 5 years, just so they can go into history books and then stop it.
I mean, I feel like Victoria and New West both have the horses to keep up. Let's also keep in mind that these WLA series are best of 5, whereas
Right.
MSL is best of 7. So they're going to get a little time potentially to rest before the Man Cup.
Mm-hmm. The other interesting thing is, do they still have the can take a couple of players from some other team? And wouldn't it be something if they took Kristen Del Bianco if Coquitlam didn't make it? Would that change the landscape a little bit on one of these two teams?
Funny, that's kind of in my back of my mind too. Is like, okay, if your team gets in and you still have that rule, what do you bolster? Do you bolster your offense? Do you bolster your defense? Do you bolster your goaltending? Especially if it's Six Nations, what do you bolster if you can take a couple players from the West?
Yeah, I
And
mean,
it depends on the team. Like,
I guess we need to check on that rule too, because I thought that rule only applied when the West teams were coming east.
Interesting. I'd like to need to look at that.
yeah.
And
Because I don't think it's any less of a mismatch going west right now, to tell you the truth.
yeah, and I mean, I don't know. If I'm a Victoria, do I really want to tinker with? I mean,
Whether I have
Victoria-
been
LBR
pretty
or-
successful with.
I think
a Wrigley
Victoria's
area
got like the
and
depth there.
Dunkerley.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
Sorry.
yeah.
Whether I have Dunkerley or Del Bianco in net.
I mean, yeah, that's different. But if they, I
think
don't
they've
know.
got a pretty good stable Victoria. I think they could probably make it work without.
Yeah, I mean,
Delbianco.
I'm more confident in Origlieri and Dunkerley as a tandem right now than I am with even Chiliano and Getty.
Well, I
But I
remember
mean, if you have
talking
say
with their
Chiliano, if you have Chiliano and Del Bianco,
right. Well, I talked with their coach of the Worlds too after all the brouhaha with the Man Cup last year, and he would rather have extra Shamrocks available than to take from somewhere else because it's demoralizing for the team too. That you have two guys who worked all year to get there who are going to sit out because you're bringing in two other guys from another team, right? So
Yeah,
it messes with chemistry as well, even if they're great players. So there's a lot
and
of
we saw. I mean, who did they take? Will Malcolm and Messenger, right?
right.
yeah,
They both.
And
Malcolm
neither
didn't
of
really
them
have much
really
of an
had
impact.
a great Man Cup, right?
yeah, they didn't
Right,
really do
Messenger made
much.
an impact, but Malcolm not so much. But they also had the problem of Marshall King broke his
Marshall King
hand.
getting hurt. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, he broke his hand in the second game after scoring 6 in the first in the winning game. So that was one that they didn't really overcome either. Mind you, they didn't. They had McCulley on the team there. They never suited him either. So I don't know about some of the things that they were using and not using. So I think you want to be in the odd man out in that the Messenger Malcolm thing as well, which is probably why he's in Peterborough this year. That and the travel's a lot easier from Buffalo.
yeah.
But anyways, that's where we're going to leave it for this week. Reminder that we are on Facebook, we are on Twitter X, we are on Instagram, we are on Thread, we are on YouTube, as well as we are on Streampunk Network at streampunkentertainment.com/lacrosse. Please visit us 3, 4, 5 times a day as the news is always changing, and with all the playoffs getting going or going to be going, we are your source for everything. We are your Costco of lacrosse, your one-stop shop, your most reliable source. Our fingers are to the pulse at all times with all of our sources getting our information from the horse's mouths, if you will. Brings us over to last words, guys. Hey, Dave is with us. Thanks, Dave. Thanks for coming in. Good to have you with us. Shawn, let's start with you. Last words.
Sure. Yeah, like I mentioned before, congratulations to the Prince Albert Predators for their Junior B win. What a fantastic program they're building out there, and of course, Standing Buffalo Fighting Sioux. I mean, what Jeff Schattler's done, just in general for lacrosse in Saskatchewan, has just been absolutely amazing. And then WLA, man, you're only paying for half a seat for this playoffs.
Yep.
It's going to be a great one.
Absolutely. Mike, last words to you.
Yeah, I'll echo. You know, I mean, don't count Maple Ridge out. You know, even with
Oh yeah,
who Coquitlam has in net. You know, they've been scrappy all year. And then I mean, PLL, like Gary said, I mean, what more could you ask for? I mean, all these games coming up next week in Denver, you know, have a big impact. Chaos Outlaws, certainly, you know, it's a chance for Chaos to clinch a playoff spot, end that big winning streak for Outlaws. And then the next day, you know, Outlaws and Atlas, top 2 teams in the league. You have Water Dogs and Cannons with, you know, potential playoffs on the line, and then Whip Snakes Redwoods, you know, where both teams are really looking to keep their playoff hopes alive.
Right.
It's just no one can afford to lose right now.
Right. Well, me getting my schedule together here. We have the Brampton game there on Thursday. We have the Brooklyn game over on Friday, and of course, we will be sitting watching the Atlas 1 o'clock on Saturday on ABC because I won't be going over to Denver. I'll try, but I don't know. But yeah, it's going to be a busy week still with a couple of regular season games still in MSL, but really getting ready for the playoffs and guys just making sure they stay healthy, and away we go almost immediately next weekend. But it's going to be interesting. And to say we're already well into the OSL playoffs, getting ready because the President's Cup is at the end of August, right? The 24th to the 29th is the President's Cup, the day after the Minto Cup ends. And then pretty much as the President's Cup ends, we get into Man Cup. So bing, bing, bing. In between that, we will have hopefully more news about the CBA for you this week. Hopefully good news. Hopefully good news about the Rochester situation as well. And free agency will be picking up in a week and a half. So this should be an interesting time. It normally gets very, very busy for us at this point. So we'll see. Face team didn't do us well to Nationals. Great experience. Absolutely. Wish her all the best in future games. So,
yep, always next year.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Well, that wraps us up for this week. Again, don't forget to check back with us because we are up to date with everything. Last couple of recaps for tonight's games will be up tomorrow, and everything is in a row there for you. So make sure you're coming and checking your news with a reliable source. That's us. For Shawn Slaght over in Moose Jaw, for Muffler Mike over in Connecticut, I'm Gary Groob in Toronto, wishing you the best of weeks. And until we meet again, remember, keep your sticks high, keep your spirits higher, and until then, have a great week. Take care, everybody.